Okay, guys, Callisto Protocol, first impressions time. And if you're new here, I'm Dead Metal of Dead Metal Media, home of positivity, cheerfulness, sunshine, and rainbows here on YouTube. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. Please consider hitting the thumbs up button. And please consider hitting the bell so that you never miss an upload. Really helps me out in the algorithm. But I don't like to make my people wait, and I'm tired of waiting for survival horror to come back, and the Callisto Protocol is here to remedy all survival horror shortcomings. And after successfully beating the game in 3 hours, I can tell you the verdict is... the Callisto Protocol absolutely sucks. I mean, who asked for this, man? This is the most blatant case of plagiarism I have ever seen. Why does everybody keep trying to copy Dead Space? Dead Space is the OG, and you know what? Sorry to hurt your feelings, fans, but Dead Space wasn't even that good. Dead Space ripped off Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 4 ripped off Cold Fear. These games are not original, but the Callisto Protocol is probably the most egregious offender of all, literally selling itself on the return of survival horror. The only thing that it's got is a return to irrelevancy, because nobody cared about this game 2 months ago, and nobody's going to care about this game in 2 months. The Callisto Protocol, more like the Irrelevancy Protocol, because nobody's out here hyped for this game. Nobody's got pre-orders locked in. Nobody is hype for a garbage rehash of a garbage rehash. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now, I've already got my pre-order locked in for the Dead Space remake, because that looks like it's going to blow the absolute pants off the competition. I've already got my pre-order locked in for the Resident Evil 4 remake. That looks like it's going to blow the pants off of the competition. Those two survival horror games, they butter my biscuit. They butter my biscuit very heavily. But the Callisto Protocol, a new IP from very, very unproven developers, not a chance. Not a chance at all. Not a chance that I'm wasting 70 of my hard-earned dollars on that. I'll stick to the tried and proven IPs. I'll stick to the talented developers who have been out here doing this longer than most of you have been alive. All right? That's just how I operate. Now, without the comparisons, let's talk about why the Callisto Protocol is an absolute failure in every sense of the word. The writing is atrocious. I literally laughed out loud at the jokes in this game. I literally laughed at the jump scares in this game. I laughed at the emotional beats. This feels like bad, edgy fanfic written on the internet by a 14-year-old who's never been touched or even acknowledged by a female in the real world. The graphics in this game are easily PS2 era. I can sit here and count the polygons in every single one of the models, and they're absolutely atrocious. The graphics do not do this game any favors. They actually break the immersion more than they complement it, and it's an absolute shame. It's just terrible. There's no multiplayer. We all know that multiplayer is the only thing that matters in 2022. If your game doesn't have multiplayer, there's no reason to buy it, because it's got very limited replay value. That's why I don't know why trash games like God of War Ragnarok are selling so well. Like, you're going to sit there and play the game once, and then what? You know what I mean? Like, you need to have multiplayer in 2022. This is just a fact. This is not optional anymore. To be relevant, you need multiplayer, you need microtransactions, you need all of these wonderful features of the modern day and age of gaming. And just compounding onto these absolutely terrible things that I've listed off so far is the fact that there are no scares in this game. This isn't the return of survival horror. This is the return of the insomnia cure. Because I guarantee you, 10 minutes after you put this on, you're going to be out like a light. That'll be the best bout of sleep you've ever had. You know what I mean, man? Like, this right here, somebody better put a patent on this, because this will single-handedly cure anyone suffering from even the harshest case of insomnia the world over. The Callisto Protocol, more like the Snore Protocol, because it's going to knock you out, guaranteed. They should put a warning on the box not to be operating heavy machinery while you attempt to play this game, because it's going to knock you flat out. You'll probably wake up in 12 hours after. That's how good. If you haven't been having REM sleep, you're going to be out literally dreaming about the craziest stuff you can imagine. And at the end of the day, that's all this game can offer. To call it a game is an insult to actual talented individuals out here creating and crafting worthwhile content for us, because this isn't a game. This was created by money-hungry, quote-unquote, developers who couldn't successfully make a Hello World script. I mean, at the end of the day, folks, you can tell when games are made from passion, and you can tell when games are made from a place of greed. And unfortunately, this falls into the latter camp with just the absolute worst presentation I've seen this side of God of War Ragnarok. I mean, I thought that game had the worst presentation, had very low count polygons, horrible flickering shadows, but this game tops it all. The only thing it's missing is excessive motion blur that'll make you nauseous when you're playing it. This game's capped at 30 FPS on the next-gen consoles, which is a superior experience, might I add, but it's terrible to give the 60 FPS peasants, not even give them a choice in the matter. You know what I mean? And this game, who can not forget the performance issues? You thought Pokemon Violet, Pokemon Scarlet was a stuttering mess? I literally thought I was watching a PowerPoint presentation when I booted this up on my PlayStation 3. I mean, the thing ran in the single-digit FPS range. It's an absolute shame because, you know, I personally knew this game was going to flop from day one, from the announcement trailer, but there were people who were genuinely excited for this trash game, and, you know, I gotta say, it just feels so good to be right again. I mean, I'm swinging for the fences. I'm hitting home runs every single time. This game is gonna fail horribly. It's gonna fail spectacularly. It's probably gonna sell in the tens or the hundreds when they're projecting to do at least 5 million. Before the end of Q1 2023, and there is no way. There is no way at all. The sheep are blind, the sheep are dumb, but they're not that blind and dumb, especially with people like me out here telling the truth. All right, this game's trash. Don't waste your money. Don't ask for it for Christmas. Don't even bother pirating the game, because it's not worth the hard drive space you would waste to test it out. The problem with this game is you could tell they didn't try. You could tell they didn't care, and you can tell that absolutely no effort went into it. It's a very low-quality hack job put together by outsourced, very inexperienced developers who could not care about the end product. Game's full of bugs and glitches galore. And they didn't even... Here's the biggest offense that this game has committed, right? It's releasing on next gen. It's releasing on PC. Where's the Wii U release? The Wii U is the greatest console to ever grace mankind. The Wii U is the single console delivered by God himself to save humanity, and you're not going to put the Callisto project on it? The Callisto project? More like the Hellbound project, because if you don't release your game on the Wii U, there's only one place for you after you're done in this world, and it ain't going to the pearly gates.